So we are going to take a look at a case study here. We're going to follow up on the question, does a higher base premium result in stronger cash values long term? Our answer in the intro video was no, but let's take a look at some numbers here as opposed to just tell you no and then someone else tell you yes. We want to see some actual data around it. So here we go. We're going to look at a case study here. And the case study is going to look at a 35-year-old male. And what we're going to focus on specifically is $50,000 per year going into the policy for a long period of time. So we're going to pay up until age 65 or for 30 years. So that's a long time to pay $50K per year into the policy. And here we go. So we've got our splits on the left. That's what these figures are. You've got 1090, 2575. 3367 and 5050. So what that means is the 1090 split means I have a $5,000 minimum base premium, $45,000 going into PUAs. 3367 would mean a 16.5 base premium, $16,500, and then 33.5 going into PUAs. 5050, pretty simple, 25.25. Point being here is we're going to study specifically how dividends are applied to the policy. We're also going to look at the guaranteed cash values. What am I interested in? The net cash value. That's what I'm interested in. So we're also going to look at the guarantees. Now, what I will note about the guarantees is the 1090 specifically utilizes a 1-year term rider. That is a blended PUA rider. And the term component is illustrating the minimum guaranteed rate of 4% credited to the policy and the maximum allowable charge that can be charged to the term rider component. We do have a separate video where we fully went into that blended PUA rider. If you haven't viewed that, I'd encourage you to do so. It's pretty interesting as we go through the analysis there. But let's take a look at this split here. Let's get into it. And what I will also note is we've got Excel sheets up here, but if you want the full data, the full analysis from the actual insurance company, the illustrations, how we mech tested everything to make sure the policy never meched any of these, because we've got a risk with a mech in all of them, that is in our agent training program. Or if you work with us, if you have a policy if you're a policy holder, you've purchased a policy through us, just request it and we'll certainly be sure to send it to you. But here, what we've got on the left, 1090 split, 2575, 3367, 5050. This is a dividend study, 6.2% dividend rate. Okay. Now, here's what I want to touch on is if I have a $5,000 base premium in the 1090 split, what is that going to result in terms of equity or cash value right off the bat? $45,000 approximately goes into PUAs, which gives me, when I compare this across the board, the richest equity up front. So the lower the base premium, the more cash value I will have 10 out of 10 times. Okay, let's progress on here. So I've got 43, almost 44, 37, 34, 27. Okay, look at your first year dividends. All of them are zero except for the 50/50. I have a higher base premium in there. That bought me a large base face amount, so the insurance company paid me a dividend in the first year. Let's look at year 10. What's highlighted in yellow, by the way, are your break-even points, which is something I always look at, really because this is our money we're paying into a policy, and I want to know when I get it back. Whether I'm paying in $50,000, $5,000, or $500,000, I don't care what the amount is. It's all relative to based off of what I earn and what I have. Is if I can not take any type of hit, that's ideal. So how do I get the maximum cash up front? But then also, how do I think long range and get the most cash possible over the long haul? Let's get into it. So again, yellow is break even. Here's where it's interesting. So what gives me the lowest dividend payout? Let me get out of the way. 1090 split. That's got the lowest dividend of the 4 scenarios up here. Lowest dividend payout, which the dividend rate with this company, again, is 6.2%. Guarantee is 4%. So what that means is they have a surplus rate of 2.2%. I know this is technical stuff. This dividend column reflects a surplus rate of 2.2. The guaranteed rate is not included in the dividend columns. That doesn't happen in most life insurance illustrations. You want to look at the net cash value or request the cash value growth to see that. Point being here, again, year 10, which one gives me the most? 50-50 split. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Which one do I have the most cash value in year 10? We've got it in bold already. Though it happens to be the illustration with the lowest dividend. Okay, now again, the argument we'll often hear, and that many have asked us to produce, was, hey, I want to see it long range. If I pay up until retirement, at that point I want to stop funding and maybe look at taking income from the policy. I want to stop at a certain point in time. Then what does it look like? All right. All the way through, I don't want to go zoom past all of them. So we've got year 10. Year 10 through 30, who gave me the highest dividend? Look at that. 50-50. And you'll notice a consistency here. I had the lowest dividend all the way through in the 1090. Lower dividend payout because I have a lower base premium. Remember how dividends, the surplus rate is more favorable to base premium dollars as opposed to PUA dollars? Here's the big thing though. If I'm out of the gates faster with the PUA component, which one gives me more money? Right? If you're paying money into a policy, I mean, if the dividend's $1 million, but you've got $2 million in a policy with a lower dividend, if that makes sense. Do you want a higher dividend payout or a higher net cash value? That's what we're looking at here. Higher net cash value. Which one gives me a higher net cash value? The 1090. And here's the thing that I always find interesting is the whole argument, well, if dividends go back up 30 years from now, when they're finally higher today, higher 30 years from now than what they are today. Not saying that will happen, but it's going to be a long time. Even if that's the case, remember that if the surplus rate goes up, if dividends go up, there is still a dividend applied to PUAs. Like when you look at actual real data, policies with minimum premiums have produced stronger cash values. I've actually got some special content coming in the near future on that. Now, with this particular study, this was an illustration, exact same 35-year-old male, same health rating, same company, all that good stuff. Which one produces more cash? 1090. What about after I stop funding? How far you want to go? I think we ran this study for 60 years. We did. Yeah, dividends are high. At that point in time, you see the dividend payout about the same with every carrier. The reason why is once we hit the kill switch, we exercised a reduced paid up to eliminate the premium on all of these examples after the funding to keep things consistent. You see those dividends actually start to level out, right? If you look at year 40, pretty much get the same thing here too, which is interesting. Why it's higher in the 1090 at this point is because the premium is gone. We killed it with the reduced paid up on all of them. So there is no base premium existing or in existence anymore. Point being, which gives me the most cash? 11,139,000, 11,034,000, 10,987,000, 11 million. 1090 all the way through. This is not to say one way is the best way to design a policy. What we're showing is how to optimize cash value upfront and also long term. See the different options. I will let you know this, as we've shown different options with different companies, and there's times we put policies in force with a 2575. We showed all of the options the consumer is aware of his or her options, and we explain pros and cons, how they work, and then we can select the one we're most comfortable with. So it is good in my mind to see the different options. So that is the dividend study. Next, we're going to take a look at the guaranteed study. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.